10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, you see, everybody's got a good side if you look for it.
Lying for a living, that's what acting is. All I've done is just learned how to be aware of the process. All of you are actors, and good actors, because you're all liars.
Welcome to Kermode Uncut. There's a very interesting film opening in UK cinemas today. It's called Listen to Me, Marlon. It's a documentary about Marlon Brando, which is based upon audio tapes which Brando made, talking to and about himself. It's like a kind of confessional work. You hear these tapes, you hear Brando's thoughts about his life, about his insecurities, about his acting, and it's all put together very, very well. It represents a tortured soul. Now, I have problems with Marlon Brando. I've always worried about the fact that people consider him to be the greatest actor of his generation, and yet for a great proportion of his acting career, he seemed to have lost all faith in acting, and certainly in Hollywood. One of the things that the film does do is it covers his career from films he really cared about, like Streetcar Named Desire, to works which he really did for the money. Superman, of course, and indeed The Formula, a film he made with George C. Scott, in which he used a technique which went like this. Because he couldn't be bothered to read or indeed learn the script, he developed an earpiece connected to a tape recorder into which he would record his lines. He would then put that into his ear, play his lines to himself on set so that he could just repeat them without ever bothering to commit them to memory. However, there is a story which hasn't made it into the documentary, which I'd like to repeat here because it's always worth repeating because, hey, it's funny, and it goes like this. One of Brando's later works was a remake of The Island of Dr. Moreau, originally directed by Richard Stanley, who only lasted a few days on the production before John Frankenheimer took over. Now, the film is an absolute catastrophe. It really is a disastrous movie, and Brando is terrible in it. There are some sequences in that film in which Brando performs his scenes wearing an ice bucket on his head because nobody had the guts to tell him to take it off. However, during the filming of The Island of Dr. Moreau, Brando apparently relied once again on the earpiece method of having lines read to him through his earpiece so that he could just repeat them without learning the script. According to other cast members on the set of Island of Dr. Moreau, however, he had developed the system so that it now worked with a shortwave radio. Rather than using a tape recorder, he had an earpiece connected to a shortwave radio. Somebody off the set would read the lines to him and Marlon would simply repeat them. The problem was that the shortwave radio was tuned to the same frequency as the local police radio, which meant that in the middle of long speeches about the nature of genetic engineering and man's moral responsibility to break down the boundaries of biology and philosophy, Marlon would suddenly announce that there was a robbery going on at the local Woolworths. From streetcar to Z cars. Now that's a career trajectory.
We developed the technique of acting very, very early, even from the time we're a kid, where we're throwing our oatmeal on the floor just to get attention from our mothers. Acting is surviving.